I'm Scott and this is BikeRide.com Reviews, and today we're taking a look at the Magicycle Deer SUV. Now this is a big bike and it's got some big claims coming out from the brand about it. Apparently this bike was inspired as a fusion of a few different genres in the e-bike range, and they fused all of those together to come up with the SUV Deer. So what is the Magicycle SUV? At first look, it might be a little bit confusing because we haven't seen a lot of other e-bikes that are labeled something like an SUV, something that we normally see with a car. Now, what Magicycle is trying to get across with this is the fact that this is kind of a multi-purpose bike. We're looking at a full suspension bike that's also outfitted and available to come with racks, so kind of a commuter style. It's got a full suspension frame, beefy 4-inch tires on 26-inch rims, and it's supposed to be more of an off-road styled bike. Now it is available in two different frame sizes. We have the step through, which we have offered here, which comes with attached fenders and a rear rack, and then there's also a step over model which does not have those fenders and rear rack. So overall it's really built to be an off-road bike meant to give you a comfortable ride, and they're trying to really fuse together and make something that appeals to a lot of different riders with this, being able to use it off-road, on-road, as a commuter, and apparently able to trek and go for extended long ranges and over varied terrain with those large tires. So they're trying to bring something for everyone with the Magicycle Deer. Is the fact that it does have quite a smooth and comfortable ride over varied terrain, especially from a seated position, which is something that's kind of surprising with these types of bikes. Now, as a mountain biker, I'm used to having to stand normally when I'm riding, even a full suspension bike. With the Magicycle Deer, it's a little bit of a different experience. You've got quite a large seat, and the general geometry and the handlebars on at least this low step model that we're dealing with really make it a little bit more comfortable to ride from a seated position. And this is where that full suspension setup really comes into play and adds to this pro. Having the full suspension really allows you to travel over a lot of different terrain, including bumps and rocks, and allow that to be very comfortable. I was traveling up to 25 miles an hour over rocky, rooty terrain in a seated position, and although I was being jostled a little bit, it was overall quite a comfortable ride, and you can really zip along an assorted amount of pathways and trails, even off-road. The next pro for the Magicycle Deer is the fact that it gives a powerful performance in its element. Now, don't get me wrong, this is definitely a heavy bike, coming in at around 93 pounds. But it's powered by a nice 750 watt rear motor, and it has a reasonably sized battery. Also, it's operating at 52 volts, which is giving it a definite power boost. These elements combine together to make the bike really move nicely when under power. When it's under power from that 750 watt motor, you can really feel the weight slip away and you forget that the bike weighs quite the amount that it does. It's pleasant to carve and it can really climb most hills that you're going to deal with ease. I didn't find any steep hills were outside of its wheelhouse. The only time that I found it would have trouble climbing was in steep, slippery terrain, where sometimes the added torque of the motor really was its undoing and a challenge. So who should buy the Magicycle Deer? The Magicycle Deer is really going to shine for recreational riders that like to go out riding on mixed terrain and also find themselves sometimes carrying cargo or using it for some other recreational means. It also could see good work as pulling a cart or maybe being used for work or deliveries because it does have a reasonable battery range and quite a bit of power behind the unit. So in general, it's really going to be good for recreational riders. It's not going to be so good for those true e-mountain bikers looking to take it on tighter technical trails, but anyone looking to ride recreational terrain and wants to be able to get out on a mixture of sand, gravel, forest paths, and pavement comfortably and really have a good time zipping around at high speeds, this is going to be a fun bike. Well, the show's over, and the Magicycle Deer didn't disappear in a puff of smoke. It actually showed that it had a few tricks up its sleeve, with the best of the bunch being that 750 watt powerful rear hub motor. The secondary one was definitely that suspension, which made it a smooth and comfortable ride over a variety of mixed terrain. So the Magicycle Deer is really going to be a great bike for recreational riders that want to get out in the off-road environment and ride it in mixed terrain, whether you're using it to go and ride on the pavement or over gravel. You're going to have a great time. I'm Scott with BikeRide.com Reviews. I hope you enjoy the ride.